Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Audrey Wiggins, and welcome to another webisode of the Audrey Wiggins Show. At our show today, we're interviewing mayoral candidate Annette Blackwell. And welcome to the show, Ms. Blackwell.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Look forward to hearing your interview today. Now, she's a candidate running for mayor in the city of Maple Heights. We're going to hear about her platform, things she's done, and what she is going to accomplish once she becomes mayor. How about that? So, Ms. Blackwell, tell us who is Annette Blackwell?
Annette Blackwell is a longtime resident of Maple Heights. She's a mother of three, grandmother of three,
Okay.
A business professional, a business owner, a wife, a woman of God.
What else? Have you ever held an elected position or post?
No, I've not had an elected position in the city of Maple Heights. I'm on several organizations. I was a member of the National Association of Black Accountants, as I'm a property tax professional for some time. I was a successful mayoral candidate in 2013 in a council race in Maple Heights. I'm a deaconess at church. I lead 3 ministries. So I've done a lot. Not all in the political arena, but I've done a lot.
All right. It's kind of politics, but not the formal
Absolutely.
politics that we would normally label it. Because definitely in politics, you talk, have a great financial background, you have your leadership, you're dealing with all, different walks of life, people from different walks of life, and certainly those are important, to develop in a platform. And what is your platform?
Well, let me just go back a little bit. When you talk about walks of people, I am the 4th year Parent Academy Coordinator for Maple Heights City Schools. So what I do is I coordinate a parent skill building program. It is headed by the national organization, Center for Improvement of Child Caring Centers. These are skill building programs specifically for the African American parent as well as a Hispanic parent, because we have different parenting styles. So in that role, I've probably graduated over 100 parents in the 4 years I've coordinated that program. So I'm focusing on parents from a lot of ethnicities, single parents. Lately I have couples. Men are stepping up. Men are raising their children, daughters, which can be a challenge for them as they're learning what it's like to have a little girl in the house. So from that perspective, I go to church in the inner city where I'm from originally. I'm from the Glenville area, and I still go to church there. And so in the ministries that I lead there, I am working with a community of older parishioners, or I should say churchgoers, as well as young parents. Again, I'm reaching out to them. So there's diversity in all that I do. I work in corporate America, where I happen to be the only woman of color, and I've been the only woman of color for 15 years. So I've been in some positions where diversity is huge. Diversity inclusion is kind of like the new term in corporate America.
Absolutely,
So, and I led the Black Employee Network. It's called BEN. It was the acronym for the Black Employee Network at Deloitte & Touche, which is an accounting firm that I worked for, as they were trying to increase the number of diverse candidates in that particular firm. So in that area, I've worked with a lot of diverse groups in those roles.
Awesome. Now, as far as the city of Maple Heights, what is the demographic? As we're talking about different
it's over 67% African American.
Yes. So we got a huge challenge there.
There is a huge challenge.
Or an opportunity, I really should say. You have an opportunity.
It's a challenge in just having the city embrace that the city has changed.
Yes.
In terms of what our leadership looks like versus our population. That's the challenge. But it's also, I think, maybe something that's going to be an opportunity, as you said, because these are people that I can relate to. I understand the needs of the people, because I go into the office as a Black woman.
Right. That's right. Yes, when they can relate to you.
I hope so.
Right. I hope so. Many of our listeners are familiar with the title of mayor, so just to be clear, what is the responsibility of a mayor?
I'm going to keep it really simple. It's the chief executive officer. If you're in corporate America, they call it coin CEO, but it's the person that's in charge of leading the city or leading the corporation, the chief financial officer, because you've got a budget to maintain, you're the person in charge. And so it would be it's the chief executive officer. This is the person that leads the city, hopefully, I'm hoping for my mayorship, to greatness.
Yes, absolutely. Now, what does the teamwork, what does the cabinet look like in Maple Heights? Do they have wards, how many, or
there are
how is that made
7,
up?
it's by districts, and there are 7 districts in Maple Heights.
Okay.
And those are managed by 7 council persons. So each council person has its own, each district has its own council person.
Okay, and so the hierarchy is the mayor,
It
the
would
council?
It would be mayor, we have a council president, and then we have 7 council persons.
Okay, okay.
And we have a law director, you know, just the basic organization, if you looked at a work chart of a city.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Now, a little bit of what's going on in Maple Heights, the recent fiscal, being under fiscal emergency.
Yes.
You know, what does that really mean, and how would you, or why would you even want to come into, you know, a situation like that, or what expertise, and how you turn that around?
Well, it is fiscal emergency, so I think anyone hearing the word emergency knows it means we're in trouble. So we're in fiscal trouble. Again, just keeping it simple, which means we're having trouble paying our bills. Our expenditures exceed our income right now.
Okay.
And there's a lot of factors tied to that. You know, there's the recent property valuation. 2012 was the last reevaluation year for Cuyahoga County, and Maple Heights took about over 35% of decreased value. A lot of homeowners lost that in value. And so property tax being the largest base, you know, it funds city services. The city took a difficult hit, as well as the unemployment being at high levels. The income tax collections are down. And then we're having trouble collecting those that are paying taxes in terms of the property tax and in terms of the city tax. Some people just are not as conscious of paying those taxes. So we have some challenges, but what it means is that we're in fiscal trouble.
Okay.
Why would I want to come into that? I feel like this. I feel that this is a place that I live. This is home for me. I mentioned that I have 3 children. My older son actually lives in Maple Heights, in the district that I live in. And I have 2 grandsons, well 3 grandsons. One's a baby, but the 2 go to the school systems. And my daughter is a junior at Maple Heights High. I mentioned that I've graduated 100 parents from the Parent Academy. These people have become friends, family, people that I care about, people that I've heard talk about just the hopelessness. There's a lot of apathy in Maple Heights right now. And it's easy to walk away.
Yes.
It's more difficult to say, you know what, should I, could I, can I? I believe with the business experience I've had, I've worked in corporate America, specifically in the tax arena for 15 years. I spent 12 years as an executive assistant to the president of physician recruitment at University Hospitals. And prior to that, I worked at KeyBank for 8 years. I come with just I think a lot of transferable skills.
Absolutely.
To have the vision, to sit in that role we talked about when I'm your chief executive officer. I've worked for the president of the hospital. I know how to handle, to manage an office at a chief executive level, as well as working, Deloitte & Touche is the 4th biggest accounting firm in the world. I work with principals and partners. I go and I do presentations for huge commercial corporations, because what we do is we assess their property valuation. And I walk in boardrooms, the people don't look like me, and we walk out with the sale. And my job is to be a part of that team. So I understand how to execute the vision, understand the business component of it. And so I feel like I would be letting myself down. I wouldn't be living the purpose. You know, the one thing when you get to a point and you say, what's my purpose? And it becomes clear to you. I believe, and I don't want to go Christian, but I said I was a Christian woman, so I'm going to go there. This is my ministry. This is my purpose. So even though I want to walk away with it, my conviction won't let me walk.
Right, absolutely, yes.
These are not my gifts. These are gifts that have been given to me. Some people can sing, some people can dance. But project management.
Yes, and that's key.
I think I can do that.
Yes.
And so I wouldn't be the woman God called me if I turn my back on this issue.
Absolutely. Thank you for answering so honestly. And we just want to take a quick break and acknowledge our location sponsor, Mayoral Insurance Group. We want to thank them again for allowing us to use their office here in Bedford Heights, 301 Columbus Street. Please give them a call. Thank you. Ms. Blackwell, I know there's a certain platform that you're running. What are the top 5 issues?
I have to start with the emergency. I think most people there's an emergency, they deal with emergency first. And as we've discussed earlier in the interview, Maple Heights is in fiscal emergency. So the first thing is to deal with the fiscal emergency.
Okay.
Just getting our arms around the budget crisis, figuring out how we can bring more revenue, and just really begin to become a fiscally sound city.
Okay.
Number two for me would be the seniors. You may or may not know that we have a viable senior center that many of our seniors go to. This is where they get 1 or 2 meals a day. It's a place that they socialize. There's a van that gets into their various personal appointments. And that levy passed by a small number of votes. The plan is to get the levy back on the ballot. But whether it's successful or not, one of the things I'm going to do, I believe these seniors are the core of our community. When I chaired the 2012 school levy, I was a chairperson, and we passed that levy successfully. It was a renewal levy, it wasn't a tax increase. Those seniors voted for the levy, and most of them don't have children in the school system.
Okay. Wow.
We have 5 brand new schools, and these are the people that come out to vote. They mentor our children, and so I think we have a responsibility to look out for them. So it's not acceptable to me that it's even an issue of whether or not we fund it. We have to find a way. I don't believe our help is in Maple Heights. That's been evidence. So we're going to have to reach beyond Maple Heights. But I'm going to be committed to finding resources and reaching out to keep those services just available to our seniors. I wouldn't be a good candidate if I sat here and made promises.
Yes.
So I'm not making a promise, but I'm making a commitment that I'm going to find ways to fund that through grants, collaboration, whatever it takes.
Yes.
And thirdly, it would be the youth. As the 4th year coordinator for the Maple Heights Parent Academy coordinator, I work with a lot of parents. And these are parents just trying to make it. And I think we've all, or knows that we have not ourselves, or know someone that's been latchkey children. There's that gap. If the children got out at 3 o'clock and mom and dad get off at 5 o'clock, and depending on where you work, there's a hour commute, it could be 6 o'clock.
Yes.
And so that's that period of time that we're trying to make sure our kids are safe and doing what they're supposed to do. And then there's summer. Summer is probably 4 weeks from us. Maple Heights had a state-of-the-art pool facility. It's at Stafford Park, and these are the buckets that fall down. It's a high slide. And when it opened, it was one of the prides of Maple Heights. Parents would come after work, and we'd be on the chaise lounge watching our children go to the top slide and say, "Look at me, Mommy," and the water being dumped on them. Sadly, that pool facility is closed due to budget constraints.
Wow.
And so our children, even on the hottest days, and also it's just a place to go meet your friends. That being closed, we have to find things for our youth. I got an email today about a free program for tutoring for girls specifically to increase their computer skills. And I think it's from 8 to 14. Making sure that we know what those skills are and getting those to our children.
Absolutely.
So it will be the youth, and then thirdly for me, being a property tax professional for 15 years, I understand the impact and the benefits of pursuing economic development and getting businesses. As I said, we're a bedroom community, so we don't have the infrastructure for big industries, and so we don't have the tax revenue that Solon has. It's huge corporations, or Beechwood, or Independence. So we have to aggressively look for small industry. We do have the infrastructure to accommodate small industries, which brings jobs.
Yes.
So that those are tax dollars, and then those employees bring income tax. So that's some more revenue, as well as to aggressively pursue retail. Bedroom communities tend to have a huge retail base. Southgate being one of the premier retail shopping centers in the country for a very long time, and that's because it's feeding them with those bedroom community people. They go to work, they come back to their neighborhoods, and then they shop in their neighborhoods. Okay. And then the last would be the existing businesses. The businesses that we have, because of the hardship in Maple Heights, people have lost their jobs, property values have decreased over 30%. There's not a lot of discretionary income. So how do we keep these businesses in Maple? We have to cater to them, and we have to make sure that our residents are going to them and shopping, spending their dollars in Maple Heights. One of the campaigns has been very successful, specifically in the community of Chagrin Falls, is the Shop Local campaigns. Okay. And so I'm hoping to bring that to Maple Heights twice a year. shop local companies. Definitely
That'd be
around,
awesome.
yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely around
Yes.
Christmas, so that we're
Yes.
spending our dollars in Maple Heights. So for me, those are the things that I think is going to turn our city around and give us the hope that we've been missing, and just kind of address the apathy among the voters and the residents in Maple Heights.
Okay, that's fantastic. So how does one get in touch with you or the campaign to be volunteers? No successful campaigns without
Sure.
volunteers.
There's 23,000 people in Maple Heights in 7 districts. We have a lot of people that we have to get
Okay.
to. So we need a lot of volunteers and just a lot of help to prevail and be very, very successful. And they can reach me through my email, and that's Blackwell for Mayor, and that's the number 4 at outlook.com.
Okay.
Those emails are answered within 20, we get them and we try to answer between 24 and 48 hours. I
Great.
personally answer those emails.
Awesome.
May
Okay.
not be able to do that as the volume increases, but right now,
Mhm.
I want them to understand they're reaching me, and that personal touch is what
Yes.
I'm going to take with me to the
Yes.
mayor's office, as well as dialing 440-479-2823.
Okay.
Leave a voicemail, and that message will get to me, and someone from the campaign will address that caller's question, whatever that
Awesome,
might
awesome.
be.
Any more in social media? You have a Facebook page set up?
We do have a
campaign?
Facebook. Google Annette Blackwell for Mayor. You're going to bring up the website,
Yes, we'll find
and
it.
it'll list my platform.
Okay.
It'll tell you about my experience. There's tabs, meet the candidate, which will tell you about my professional experience, my personal, a little bit of personally about me, and then it'll list my platform.
Okay.
And then it'll have a list of my upcoming events. It's a pretty good
Okay.
website,
Okay,
so
that'd be
all the
awesome.
information one would be interested in knowing about myself or the campaign can be found on that
Okay,
website.
Fantastic. So what is your final message that you want to leave with our viewers?
I'd like to say, as of today, and today that we're taping this, it's Monday, May 4th, I am the only certified candidate
Okay.
for mayor.
Okay. What does that mean?
That means that I went out and I got the required signatures, and I believe, if I recall, it was 66 signatures, and of course we got much more than that, just in case that there were some voters that were not valid once those petitions were signed. So I went through that process that's dictated by the Board of Elections,
Okay.
and I was successful. I took my petitions down, everyone was verified, I had the necessary signatures, and I then became a certified candidate.
That's fantastic.
And as of today, there are no other mayor candidates who are certified.
Awesome.
The last thing I'd like to say is that this is a very important race. It's unlike any other mayor race we've had in Maple Heights because we haven't been here before. We're in fiscal emergency. Maple Heights was traditionally a city that was not a city of a huge population of African Americans, and it's 68% African American right now,
Wow.
while administration is 90% non-African American. So we have businesses that have left, we have a lot of vacancies, property values have significantly decreased, over 30%. We've had a high unemployment rate. So this race is important. You want to make sure, and I hope that voters are going to go to community forums and go to the events that these various candidates hold to find out, what are you going to bring to my city? How are you going to address the needs that I have as a resident of Maple Heights? So it's important enough that they should get involved through volunteering, attending the events, asking questions, reading through the literature, so they can make an informed decision to change their city. If they're apathetic about the state of affairs, this is a way to change that to something hope, to change that to something positive. And the last thing I want to say is that I received the endorsement of the Carl Stokes Brigade.
Awesome, that's fantastic. Well, congratulations again.
Thank
for coming
you.
out to Blackwell.
Thank you
We look
for
forward
having
to-
me.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. So we look forward to hearing about your success. And you go out and you make something awesome happen in your community, in your neighborhood, your region, and we can make an impact around the world.